Imam Anwar Shah al-Kashmiri was amazing. And I mean amazing. In fact, one of the phrases that some of the ulama used to use about him was, Arab ulama, لو سبق به الزمان لعد من الأعيان. That one of the sad things, well, it wasn't sad, but one of the things that didn't work in his favour, Allamah Anwar Shah al-Kashmiri rahmatullahi alayhi, is that he came in the last century, and therefore people weren't able to appreciate him. Had he been one of the earliest scholars, he would have been regarded as one of the greatest classical scholars of Islam, without doubt. One, he had an amazing memory, a photographic memory. He wouldn't forget. I spoke to his son, and Imam Anwar Shah al-Kashmiri rahmatullahi passed away. I spoke to his son, and there was a group of scholars, and we asked him a few questions regarding his father. And one of them was this famous question that, is it true that your father had a photographic memory? And he said, yeah, many ulama, many of the greatest ulama would ask Allamah Anwar Shah al-Kashmiri about his memory. And this was his reply, consistent reply. He said, if I read a book by skimming through it, I probably won't forget that book or what I've read for a good 30 years. But if I ever read a book properly, not skimming through it, but actually reading it, inshaAllah, I will never forget it for the rest of my life. It's true. Once whilst teaching Bukhari, he mentioned something from Fath al-Qadir, which is a commentary of a Hanafi book of fiqh, al-Hidayah. Fath al-Qadir was written by Kamaluddin ibn Humam, rahmatullahi alayhi, famous faqih and muhaddith. So after quoting and citing a paragraph, Allamah Anwar Shah al-Kashmiri rahmatullahi alayhi said, I read that book 36 years ago. And if you were to, and I have never read it since. I read it once and I haven't read it since. If you were to go back, and you know how many, depending on the publication, Fath al-Qadir can be available in 20, 25 volumes. It's a huge book. So he said, I read it 36 years ago. And I say as a gift of Allah to me that Allah has blessed me with this gift. Tahdithan bin ni'mah. I announce Allah's favour to you, upon me. That if you were to go back and refer to this paragraph from Fath al-Qadir, which I quote to you now verbatim from memory, having read that book over 36 years ago, you will not find one letter or even one wow here or there. And that was true. He had a photographic memory. So not only did he have a brilliant photographic memory, see, some people have good memories, but they lack the analytical skills. He also had a piercing insight and a brilliant scientific and analytical mind. And a lot of people have good minds, good analytical scientific minds, but they don't have good memories. Those who possess both a good memory as well as piercing insight and brilliant analytical skills, that's a lethal combination. Very few people have that. Imam Anwar Shah al-Kashmiri rahmatullahi possessed both. And he was amazing. He would comment on issues of philosophy, dialectics, all manner of things, so much so that Imam Anwar Shah, I've got a reason for mentioning this. Imam Anwar Shah al-Kashmiri rahmatullahi alayhi even claimed to have written about and understood the theory of relativity before Einstein. And he claims, Imam Anwar Shah al-Kashmiri rahmatullahi, that this theory of relativity was actually originally discovered by Arab Muslim scientists. And Imam Anwar Shah al-Kashmiri rahmatullahi alayhi has a whole treatise on it. So he could talk about theory of relativity, about philosophy, ancient Greek philosophy, history. He was amazing. I mean, when he's talking about Bukhari, just by passing, he would say things like, this narrator in this chain, amongst thousands of narrators, just say as a comment, he said, this narrator is one of the students of Imam Zufar, but his position is this, his position is that he is the same narrator who's been declared weak by this Imam on this occasion, but declared authentic by the same Imam on another occasion. Purely out of memory, he could quote absolutely anything. But the same Anwar Shah Kashmiri rahmatullahi says, and this is the point I'm trying to get at. He said, and he said himself of himself, he said, there is no science or there is no discipline of learning in which I do not have an opinion. I have an opinion in virtually everything. But, he said, except in fiqh. I am in fiqh, أنا مقلد صرف. I am a pure muqallid. I follow the fiqh, letter to letter. I have an opinion in every science, in every discipline, except fiqh, except jurisprudence and Islamic law. In fiqh, I do not entertain my own individual opinions. I am a follower of the Hanafi fiqh. And that's Kashmiri. Of course, roles are reversed now. Those were the old days. Now, we don't have an opinion. We probably don't have the ability to formulate and entertain an opinion in any topic. Our minds are completely blank. What did you have for breakfast yesterday? But our minds are blank even about our own lives. But when it comes to the Quran and Hadith, mashallah, we have an opinion on every verse of the Quran and every Hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and every law of fiqh.